in these streets.
And I'm just like you.
We getting locked by these caps.
And I'm just like you.
We fulfill the prophecies.
And I'm just like you.
You might be light, I might be dark.
But I'm just like you.
We kill each other over colors.
And I'm just like you.
I'm in these ghettos, in these
And
slums.
I'm just like you.
They call you nigga, call me spick.
And I'm just like you.
You was 1619, I was 1492. We getting shot in these streets.
And I'm just like you.
We getting locked by these caps.
And I'm just like you.
Welcome to FCN Quick News of the Day. I'm your host, Captain Zakar, and today in the news we have
the number of Americans who think violence against the government is justified is on the rise, poll finds.
that's not anything new or common. We live in a place that was built on blood, was built on genocide, built on massacre. So for them to have that in their spirit is absolutely normal. Let's read that real quickly, the article.
The number of Americans who think it's justified for citizens to take violent action against the government is on the rise. A recent poll from the Washington Post, University of Maryland showed 34% of Americans believe violence against the government can at times be justified, which is up from 23% in 2015 and 16% in 2010, according to the poll's findings.
Let's go to the scriptures. Let's go to Numbers chapter 23, verse 19. Let's read that 23, verse 19, because the things that we are hearing about of there's an uprising that they should overthrow the government, that's prophesied to happen. And God said it would, because he's not a man that he should lie. Let's read that Numbers 23, verse 19.
Numbers chapter 23 and verse 19. God is not a man that he should lie, neither the son of man that he should repent.
So God said that these things would come to pass. And where did he say those at? In the book of 2nd Ezra. Let's go to that in 2nd Ezra, chapter 15, and let's read 14 through 19. God is not a man that he should lie. He said it would happen. His word is true. It cannot be broken. And we see the effects of those things starting to come to pass in our lifetime. Let's read that in 2nd Ezra.
2nd Ezra chapter 15 and verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein.
That means destruction is coming. Woe to us that are here now. Go ahead.
For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. And one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands.
That's what you call wars. Those are the uprisings between nations. Go ahead.
For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another.
Invading one another happened here in 2021, I believe it was, that the Edomites of this country invaded their own government. They invaded one another. Read on.
They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their action shall stand in their power.
Read on.
A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. For because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled. The houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread, and for great tribulation.
That's what we see when it says 34% of people say that going against their government in a what would be known as a civil war is more feasible. Why? Because God prophesied that there will be sedition among men. They will not regard their kings or their princes, but it would be uprising and invading one another. Let's go to the book of Daniel, chapter 2, and let's read verse 40 and 41.
Daniel chapter 2 and verse 40. And the fourth kingdom shall be as strong as iron.
That fourth kingdom is America, right? It was Rome at first, and it became America because this is the place that honors Rome and through their days, through their infrastructure, through their way of life. America is Rome reborn again. Read.
For as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all these, shall it break in pieces and bruise. And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided.
The kingdom shall be divided. How is it divided? They divided themselves in thinking that they were making a better country when they broke off from the British by having what? Democracy. They had Democrats and Republics. They are divided. They're also divided in beliefs, freedom of religion. They're divided in many ways, which actually is a weakening point for them as a country. Read on.
And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided. But there shall be in it of the strength of the iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay.
So what is God telling us? That the fourth kingdom, known as America, which was Rome at first, it will be divided when it becomes a great nation. And that is going to be to its own detriment. Let's read that in Matthew chapter 12. And let's read verse 25 and 26.
Matthew chapter 12 and verse 25. And Jesus knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation.
There you go. Thus saith the Lord. What they thought was their strength in having democracy and giving people the freedom of choice is actually going to backfire on them and destroy their kingdom. Thus saith the Lord. Read on.
And every city or house divided against itself shall not stand.
Shall not stand. Why? Because they will eventually invade one another, ravage each other's houses when the bread becomes low. Go ahead.
And if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand?
There you go. Who rules this kingdom? It is Satan that rules this kingdom. This is the throne of iniquity. This is the place where they made a covenant with Satan and bowed down and worshiped him spiritually and have power over the whole world. And eventually, as Christ said, this place will not stand. Let's go to the book of Revelation, chapter 18, and let's read 1 through 5. So since this place known as Babylon the Great, Rome reborn again, what is God commanding us Israelites to do in these last days? Let's read that.
Revelation chapter 18 and verse 1.
And
after these things I saw another angel come from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen.
Babylon the great land of confusion, known as America, is falling, is going to fall. Read on.
Is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird.
Read on.
For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her.
How do they do that? That's called global trade. They commit fornication with her through her money, through global trade, import, export. Read on.
And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich.
There you go. That's how you know the fornication is talking about global trade. The merchants of the earth that deal with global trade have waxed rich by laying in bed with Babylon, Babylon the Great, the whore. Read on.
Through the abundance of her delicacies. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people.
Come out of her, Israelites. Come out of her ways. Read on.
That ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues.
So how do we have to come out of this place? We got to come out of the birthdays. We got to come out of Christmas. We have to come out of Thanksgiving. We got to come out of baby showers. We got to come out of Sunday church. We got to come out of Easter. We have to come out of all manner of sin that has been fed to us here in Babylon the Great, because it will fall. And if we are a part of those things, read verse 5.
Verse 5, for her sins have reached unto heaven, and God hath remembered her iniquities.
Because if we are caught up with Babylon the Great, known as America, and her iniquities, we will fall right along with this place. Thus saith the Lord. Let's go to 1 John chapter 5, and let's read verse 19 of why God tells us to come out of this place, separate from her ways, going into birthdays, Christmas, Thanksgiving, baby showers, Sunday church, Easter, prostitution, drug dealing, the music industry, the movie industry, whatever it is. Come out of it spiritually. Why is God telling us that? Let's read that. 1 John 5, verse 19.
1 John chapter 5 and verse 19. And we know that we are of God.
We are of God.
And the whole world lieth in wickedness.
That's why we must come out of her. That's why we must come out of the ways. It is wickedness. It is always some hidden agenda behind the things that America pushes. It presents itself as a innocent person, a lamb, as it says in Revelation, but it is actually a mother of harlot and full of abominations. Give me that in Romans chapter 12, and let's read verse 2.
Romans chapter 12 and verse 2.
Uh-huh.
And be not conformed to this world.
Why? Because the whole world lies in wickedness. Read on.
But be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind.
Remember who you are. Change your mind. See the world as it is. See the wickedness that is in it and how it has corrupted us as a nation of people. Read that again.
And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind.
And the only thing that will transform us is the laws, statutes, and commandments of God and the faith in Jesus Christ.
Shalom, Israel. This is Bishop Nathaniel. I want you to know that you can view all our Sabbath classes live on IUIC TV. That's right, I said on IUIC TV. Download the app today. Shalom.
We used to scream black power while heroin was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission, minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold, from Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.